According to the news, this last Tuesday we started a brand new season, the season of spring. And the reason that I say it that way is because my wife and I live in Central Florida. If you know anything about Florida, you know that it is hot almost the entire year round. And yet even here, there's a newness of life coming out. We see flowers blooming. We see trees budding. We see a new life coming where there was once the look of death. But spiritually speaking, we're not there yet, are we? We're still in the season of darkness, in the season of cold. As a professor of ours would say, still in the desert. And it's in those desert moments when it's been a long time, when we've struggled for a long time, that we can get to the point of saying, God, I need something more. I need to almost physically touch you right now. I feel so distant from you. I know you care, but I need to see it. I know you still love me, but I need to feel it and touch it. And I think it's for this very reason that spring comes during the end of Lent. Take something very simple as an example. A seed. This little orange seed, it was once alive, but right now it sits dead in my hand. Yet if I plant this seed in the ground, if I bury it, a new life will resurrect from this little seed. And it will grow into a tree. And that tree will produce fruit. A new life. A life that can produce fruit on its own. A life abundant as it continues to produce fruit over and over again. I can touch this little seed. This little seed reminds me of the Passion story. As Christ died for our sins, and he was buried in the ground, and he resurrected 3 days later, and it was out of his resurrection that we receive life, a new life, an abundant life. There is beauty in that. There is beauty in seeing that and experiencing that. And seeing how God takes this idea of his Son and makes it in each and every plant that surrounds us, from the grass to the trees to the flowers. And according to the darkness, this doesn't make sense for us to find beauty in this, does it? According to the darkness, the only thing that makes sense for us to find beauty or joy in any way is in survival, right? This is what the world says. The idea of evolution. The only things that make sense for us to find joy is in food, is in lodging, is in our own safety, and a spouse to continue the species on. And yet we find joy. We find joy all over the place. We find it in music. We find it in art. We find it in creating. We find it in just walking through the outdoors and finding the flowers, right? The colors, the smells. We find it even in food, but not just food that helps us survive, but in blending them together and changing it into an art form. If the darkness is true, if evolution is where we all came from, then why is it that the foods that are good for us sometimes taste bad, and the foods that are bad for us usually tastes good. This idea of evolution is not something I feel like I can physically touch and hold. You know? But this idea of art, the idea of storing a song inside of me, of holding a painting or literature that just changes me, I can hold on to that. I can touch that. That leans towards what scientists call the idea of intelligent creationism. The idea that you and I were created on purpose and for a purpose. In a planet where not only can we breathe the oxygen, but the oxygen comes from plants. The same plants that we can eat. And the animals that are here can also eat the plants. And we can eat the animals. And the animals can help the people. And we can thrive together and grow together. And we are all balanced perfectly. The sun that should destroy us doesn't. Because we are protected, right? We have a layer of protection that surrounds us at all times. I can grasp that idea. I can touch that. I can see in the dark moments how everything around us had to have been put together perfectly in order for us to exist. When you struggle with those dark moments, when you struggle with that pain, I challenge you to do something simple. To just hold a seed in your hand. Remember the passion story. To create art. And know that you can do that abstractly on your own, unlike any other creature on this planet. Because you are designed to have a joy that goes beyond the darkness.